I recently had a special opportunity to sit down with two key figures from Pentax management for an interview, General Manager Tomoki Tanaka and Genichiro Takaoka from Overseas Sales. Thanks to Pentax Australia, I was able to record this exclusive interview to share with you here on the channel. We were kindly hosted by XYZ Photo Gallery in Melbourne. Please enjoy the discussion, where we covered the Pentax film project and more. So, just to start with, I just want to thank you again for taking the time to speak with me today for my YouTube channel, and congratulations on the success of the Pentax 17 camera launch.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
It seems to me like the Pentax brand is always doing something unique instead of following mainstream trends in the camera industry.
Yeah.
The Pentax
it's true.
K, monochrome, and now the new film camera project.
Yeah.
Can you tell me more about this philosophy or approach?
Actually, we are a small company in compare with big guys, and we cannot just do the same things with other company, because then we cannot offer the unique things. So we try to offer unique product by thinking about a lot, like black and white model, monochrome model for the K3 Max 3, or film cameras. We don't believe everybody can do the same things, but we can do, because we are in the good meaning small companies. Yeah.
Yes. And do your customers often have any expectation for any change in this approach with wanting, like, let's say, mirrorless or some kind of new lens for Pentax K?
So honestly, mirrorless, as you have seen, we are not handling mirrorless, except maybe I should say one model quite a long time ago.
Yeah.
And mirrorless is can I say coming from the all electric components, and like EV cameras, electric vehicle cameras, and we cannot follow the same trend, because if we follow the same things, we are small. So in these categories, large volume company or large volume business always win. So we do not follow for mirrorless. But I cannot say never. We do not launch mirrorless forever. But we have to. It's not the same. I'm not telling like that. But at least we cannot just follow the same things with other companies. That's point. In case of lenses, it's same. Consumer are not likely to have a big or heavy lenses, but they want to have a unique lenses. So that's the basis of the product plannings. So to launch to offer the uniqueness to the customers. Yeah, that's our aim and our wish. Yeah.
So the consumer has changed, the customer has changed, and you want to adapt for that. Can you tell me a little bit more about the background of the Pentax company in general and how it's changed over, like, especially these last 20 years?
Last 20 years. 20 years means almost same as digital camera period. Because digital camera become majority of the business is after we are coming to 21st century, in general. And in the past, we handling a lot of film cameras, not on the SLR or as well as point shoot cameras. At that time, volume was quite significant, because consumer needs a camera to take an image always. And that nowadays, especially not 20, but I should say 10 years, smartphone is majority of the people. Everybody have a smartphone. So just take a picture can be managed by a smartphone only. So people, we believe people want to take pictures, not memo image. So with a smartphone, I also take a picture with smartphone, but that is a kind of a memo. And if you want to take pictures, I want always use the cameras. Then recent question is what cameras is for the and for me, because I'm working for camera business more than 30 years, and I'm always following the trend of the business. Honestly, now. Until just recently, I should say, camera is digital cameras. But now, things is going the next step. Some people don't use the digital cameras at all, or they don't directly connect camera as digital camera. Camera is sometimes analog, sometimes digital, especially for young generation. That's we recently can say realize.
Yes.
Yeah. That's so since we are in the industry quite can I say deep levels, we could not feel such kind of trend. But after we make investigations, we just recently realize, oh, market is already changed and far away from us.
What are the most immediate goals for the Pentax business over, let's say, the rest of 2024 or for the next year, if Takaoka-san or whoever wants to answer?
A good question. The Pentax 17 film camera is, we can say, our new challenge or kind of the new project for our company. But so far, as many interview already done as a people, but we never give up as a digital photography also. So that's why we want to show the, how can I say, idea was suggestion to the customer. So both can be chosen by customer. So that's why, at least for a while, so since we have launched Pentax 17 in the market, we also had a very good reputation from all over the world. So we trying to support the film analog community also as much as possible.
It seems like Pentax would love to support the individualism of the photographer in that sense by having that individuality, which I admire that a lot.
In some meaning, yes, yeah. Especially Pentax 17, we still, can I say, try to fulfill the initial demand as a worldwide basis. So because some country, we, for example, in case Australia, we just success to put the inventory at the stores. And just before we came, store doesn't have our inventory. So first, as of quite short term, our activities try to fulfill the initial demand from consumers.
Yes.
And then let's communicate with the customers about availability of this product and let them enjoy the film camera business. That's not business, film camera world. Yeah, that's our wish.
You made an interesting point before about smartphones because digital came and had a rapid time in the early 2000s, but now over the last 5 years, maybe we've been seeing a very steady decline of camera sales in general, like just normal cameras because of smartphones, because more people are starting to use smartphones. What's your opinion on this trend, this downward trend of sales, and do you think it's stabilizing now?
Actually, as a worldwide trend, camera business is increasing.
I see.
Yeah, and one of the reasons is average price has been increased. And during the period of digital camera is quite popular for the people. It means everybody want to buy digital camera. Requirement was a low, reasonable price for the cameras. But now people who want to use a camera, they want to use camera as their hobby.
So yeah, more people have the hobby of photography.
So that's, in such a case, they not limitation, but they not willing, but they don't hesitate to make an investigation to buy their own product with a unique function and so on. So as the industry itself, after COVID-19, industry is increasing. Volume of the industry is increasing at this moment.
So do you think smartphone photography, the popularity, has a positive effect for photography?
As Tommy-san says that we could see many users enjoying the photography. So some of them, they are enjoying the digital filter via smartphone. But at the same time, nowadays, we also realize that they are not satisfied effect anymore. That's why my understanding they want to come back to the more authentic one, such as a film, is more, no, how can I say, no fake or no filter. This is more unique, then no one knows about the effect, right? So this is somehow one of the reasons of the background of we launched this film camera to the market.
So there's a very strong casual enthusiast market, but also on the other side, Pentax has a rich history and many photographers were fans of the Pentax 645 system, professional or studio or even enthusiasts, including myself, as I mentioned. Will we ever see a return of the Pentax 645?
No, it's difficult to answer about that. At this moment, we don't have a plan, but for the future, we may, yeah.
So is it difficult to say whether or not Pentax has an interest in medium format in general, because that is something that is also quite unique and different, whether it's film or digital?
Yeah, in this, yes, during the investigation of the film business or film analog camera situations, yeah, we realize a medium format demand is existing. That's we realize.
Okay, that's good to know. Let's talk more about now the Pentax film camera project, because that's what I think most people are interested in. My opinion is that the 17 was a great achievement for not only just a camera in general, for photographers, but also for the film community. It will help drive future growth for the film community. What were the biggest challenges in bringing this product to the market? Because I'm sure there were many.
It's to make a decisions, honestly. Yeah, because the information we could collect from the market, there should be demand. But market is based on the second hand. So biggest question is whether they like to have a second hand product or they want to have analog cameras. These are totally different. If market want to have a old, means can I say historical equipment, means a second hand, and if we launch a new model, that doesn't match at all. But we believe the reason the people is buying the second camera is just want to take a film photographies. Then we achieve the conclusion and we decide to go with a new product.
So you feel it was a risky
There's of course, there is a risk decision. So because we don't have any market data as a, can I say, solid basis. Yes, and there is a lot of assumption, and we have a lot of communication with, for example, C.R. Kennedy about the film's consumption and so on. But different from digital cameras, we don't have a market,
Very different.
fixed market data. That's quite difficult to make a judgment.
Of course. And has the reception in Japan been as positive as it is in the rest of the world, or do you see a distinction in the market?
In general, everybody accepted our product. Yeah, especially after we really launched the product. Yeah.
Even from before launch?
Yes.
People pre-order in Japan?
Yeah. Japan, as I mentioned, still in the process of a sell-in. It means we don't have an inventory in the stores yet. So a lot of customers is waiting to get the inventories after pre-orders. Yeah.
Okay. But when the idea was first presented to you, someone said, let's make a film camera. Did you ever foresee this current level of success? Did you think that this would
Yes,
be
this is far bigger than we expected. Yeah.
far bigger than you expected? Amazing. And what challenges are you facing now with the film camera project? Stock demand?
Yeah, first to meet with initial demand. And after that, to continue to get interest from our customers. So currently, I think people who has a keen about camera business, they are interested, but we'd like to reach the next generations, like they are enjoying film cameras. So they may not care so much about tools, but they want to have a result like younger generations. So, but we believe this camera can meet with their demand as well. So we try to expand the customer's profile from the camera-oriented people to the other people.
I see. I believe it can meet that demand as well. What about research and development for the continuation of the project? Are there any challenges with that? Or you focus just on the 17 for now?
Yeah, for the future models, we need to have a market research. But market research is maybe it's kind of hearing basis in the worldwide to ask the opinion from the multiple people and get their input and need to build up by our own ideas. Yeah, because the challenge is yes, there is a lot of old histories in behind, and if we just copy the old one, it's easy, but I don't think it's work. Time has been changed. So based on the technology we have in the past, plus new idea and new concept is required.
So during the development of 17, we also did many interview or survey or whatever, try to meet the people, try to meet the users, those who are now enjoying the film photography. So also when I joined many events in many countries, we also meet the attendee or users. So then we are also listening what they are enjoying, what they are expecting for our future models. So those opinions is very much helpful to discuss internally or consider what the next should be or what should be something.
That's a great approach. Was this research based on a worldwide audience or selected country, selected demographic when you were doing research for the Pentax 17?
It's basically a global basis, not only in the one area. So we collect many market as much as possible.
Excellent. Why do you think young people, especially, they're embracing the imperfection of film photography over the last years. In your opinion?
I believe they want to have some uniqueness. That's our opinion. But I'm not sure this is 100% correct. But our understanding is that they want to show something unique by themselves.
Yeah.
And that, in case of film, that can be more not easy, but can make it possible rather than the digital cameras. Because digital cameras, as for example, he mentioned effect. Everybody can make an effect in which we just follow the same manners.
Yeah.
But in case of analog, think about how to.
Of course, yeah. Sorry, it is a difficult question because there's so many reasons why people might do that. But with young people shooting so much film and there's all these trends that come and go, it's interesting to understand, why they continue to want to do this. And it's not even just younger photographers, but a lot of older ones. But do you think digital photography maybe became too perfect, too clinical in some way for some people?
Can be, yeah.
Yeah.
We just follow the same operation or same protocol. In the digital levels, they can take similar pictures.
Yeah.
Of course, it is because so many purpose for the photography. But for my personal opinion, basically, I do like some travel photography because I travel quite a lot in many countries. But something distinguished from digital photography and then film photography nowadays is I can remember more process allocation after seeing the result. Or this location I do this effect, I try to do some change the focus, then I can remember when I see the result. Because digital photography sometimes just zoom, they take a photo. But so far, analog photography, I have to consider more what is the light is coming, or what's the film I'm using, so then focus should be. Then I think more, how can I say, something more memorable, or even for me to do that.
Definitely more memorable, more care
Yes.
about the moment as well. But the cost of film has also been rising sharply over the last few years, especially. And one of the best ways you can save money, obviously, is shooting half frame is a great way to keep the cost lower. Was that one of the main influences for the decision for half frame? And how else do you think we can keep the cost of film lower going into the future?
Yeah, this is a kind of part of, but the first thing decision to take a half frame is to apply the vertical photo angle to meet with a smartphone. Yeah, in my old age, picture was basically a landscape, not portrait. But nowadays, for the people, picture is not portrait. Picture is portrait, not landscape.
Yeah.
So to meet with this kind of demand with standard shooting mode, shooting style, half size is one of the solutions. This is the starting point. Then, as a second benefit, we can offer the saving of the films. Yeah.
What would you like to see from other industry leaders and brands?
If somebody following the or joining the film camera business, that's fine. Yeah, because that makes market better situations. Yeah.
Okay. And can you share any details, if you're allowed to, about the next stages of the Pentax film camera project?
So far, we need to first distribute the product or Pentax 17 to the people and listen the comment from them. At the same time, we have to we are on the way to study what's the demand from market. So yes, this is not can I say end of the story. So first we could launch the Pentax 17 as a first output of the film project. So there should be second. But since we are a small company, so we have to listen to a lot of comment. So we don't have a fixed idea about the second models for future models at this moment.
And do you have confidence in being able to maintain stock and keep up with demand? Yeah, because a lot of people want the camera and they continue to show interest.
The one thing I need to clearly mention is that we are not limit the productions. Like we decided that this quantity is the first lot and distribute and start to make a preparation for second quantities. No, we are continuously developing. Continuously producing the product every day. Now in Vietnam, simply currently demand is higher than our production capacities. That's all. So,
but I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah, because we are our company have a capability to make a mass productions of the cameras by ourselves.
Are you able This is another tricky question, but as a percentage of the business, how important is film for Pentax right now, the film camera
Yeah,
project?
quite important, honestly.
Quite
Yeah, because we believe this is a growing market. Yeah, at least for our business territories. Yeah, quite important.
Well, as someone who loves shooting film, I'm really inspired to hear that you have so much confidence in the film community, and I want to thank you for, on behalf of a lot of film shooters, especially ones I've spoken to who've used the Pentax 17 and they've already made some beautiful results from it. Is there anything else that you would like to share with film photography enthusiasts who might be watching?
Do you have anything?
Yes, one thing important, of course, we are a private company, we are doing business, but so far one thing important is we are also photography contribute to the photography culture. So in our point of view, I think another people also mentioned another video, but so far we are almost 1 or 2 engineer working experience in film development at the moment. So this is a quite last chance to take over the technology to next generation to our engineers.
Yeah.
Even the print is there or some idea is there, but if someone no experience, it's quite difficult. Even our development of the Pentax 17, we sometimes invited the senior retired engineer to get advice. Otherwise, we couldn't understand why this part is important, what makes difference. Then they come to here to share the advice. So it means that this is our challenge is also take over the technology to next generation to enjoy the film photography for long or more steadily. Yeah, this is one of the important to that.
That's really inspiring to hear, and it's almost like the passion is what's driving a lot of these decisions, and that's great.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay, that was great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys taking the time, and I hope you guys come back again soon and visit.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes. I hope you enjoyed the chat as much as I did. It was a pleasure to have this opportunity to interview Tanaka-san and Takaoka-san. So it was an honor to hold this interview and chat with them candidly for a while afterwards. I'd like to thank CR Kennedy and Pentax Australia for making this possible during the short visit from Japan. XYZ Photo Gallery in Docklands kindly hosted us for the interview, and I recommend checking out their current exhibition, 20th Century Monochrome. Thanks to Nick Chen for his assistance with filming the interview on such short notice. And once again, thanks to the representatives from Pentax Japan and the Ricoh Imaging Company for their time. It was great to hear about their belief in the potential of analog photography. I look forward to seeing what they do next.